Commander James Rourke stood at the edge of the large glass balcony, staring out at the floating islands of Velmora. The sky was a pale violet, with twin moons slowly rising on the horizon. The air was light and cool, filled with a soft floral scent carried by the wind. It was beautiful here, far from the dusty outposts and steel warships he was used to. He adjusted his dark, formal uniform. Tonight was not about war. It was about peace. The Velari had invited representatives from Earth to a diplomatic celebration. Velmora was one of the most peaceful planets in the sector. The Velari people were known for their calm voices, graceful movements, and deep knowledge of the stars. Commander Rourke, a soft voice said behind him. He turned and saw her, Alira. She stood tall and graceful in a long flowing dress the color of the ocean. Her skin had a soft silver glow in the moonlight, and her eyes were a bright, peaceful green. She walked slowly, her steps almost silent, as if she floated rather than walked. "I am pleased you accepted our invitation," she said gently. James gave a small nod. "It's an honor. Your world is incredible." She smiled. "Would you like to step away from the crowd? I believe we have much to speak about." He glanced back at the banquet. Alien music played softly in the background. Tables were filled with fruits and glowing drinks. Other Earth officers chatted politely with Velari diplomats. He looked back at Alira and nodded. "Sure," he said. She led him down a quiet hallway lined with glowing crystal patterns. The walls pulsed slowly with blue light. Everything here felt alive, calm, but full of energy. At the end of the hallway was a small private chamber with large windows facing the stars. Alira entered first. James followed. The door slid shut behind him with a quiet sound, but then, with a faint click, he saw her reach to the side and press something. The door locked. James raised an eyebrow. Something wrong? She turned to face him. Her expression remained calm, but her voice was serious now. "You gave me a phrase," she said. "One that holds deep meaning to my people." He blinked. "A phrase?" She stepped closer. "You said, 'That dress looks amazing on you.'" James chuckled lightly. "That was just a compliment to you," she said. "But on Velmora, those words carry weight. When spoken in private, they mean something deeper. They are an old tradition, passed from one to another. It means I choose to stand with you, no matter what comes." James paused. "I had no idea." "I believe you didn't," Alira said. "But sometimes, even unaware actions can awaken old paths. That is why I brought you here." He looked around the room, then back at her. "All right, then tell me, why did you bring me here, really?" She nodded slowly, then walked to a panel on the wall. With a light touch, she revealed a hidden screen. A map of the sector appeared, showing planets, ships, and strange markings. "This is not about dresses or tradition," she said. "This is about a threat. The Drexari are moving. They have already attacked minor colonies. Velmora is next." James stepped forward. "We haven't heard any confirmed reports. You will soon." She said, "Our people are peaceful. We do not build warships. We do not prepare for violence. But we have something else, something hidden. And we need someone who understands both Earth's strength and the old ways. Someone like you." James frowned. "Why me?" She looked him in the eyes. "Because you are not just a soldier. You're curious. You ask questions. You look beyond orders. And you're human." He waited long ago. She continued. "There were humans who traveled farther than anyone believed. They came to Velmora before it was called by that name. Some say they shaped our world. Others say they only watched. But the proof is hidden, locked away. And now, we believe it's time to uncover it." James crossed his arms. "You're saying humans came here first? That's not in any Earth record." "It wouldn't be," Alira said. "It was before your records began. Ancient humans, travelers from a forgotten time. Their symbols match the ones in our deepest vaults." She walked to a small table and picked up a crystal. She handed it to James. As he held it, the crystal glowed faintly and showed a 3D image, an old Earth military symbol, one not used for centuries. He stared at it. This is real." She nodded. "We need someone who can help us access the old chambers. The Drexari are searching too. if they find the knowledge before us. They will use it to destroy, not protect. James looked at the locked door again, then at Alira. So you brought me here, hoping I'd say yes. You already did, she said softly, with your words. He sighed, then smiled just a little. Next time I compliment someone's dress, I'll be more careful. Alira smiled too. On Velmora, words are not thrown like dust, they are planted like seeds. He looked at her with new respect. All right, I'm listening. What's the next step? She reached out and pressed another crystal. A second door opened, this one leading to a dimly lit stairway. The air from below smelled of stone and time. The past, she said, waits for us. Commander James Rourke followed Alira down the quiet stone stairway. The walls were made of smooth silver rock that glowed faintly with a blue light. Each step echoed softly. It felt like they were walking into the past. This place was sealed for over 1,000 years. Alira said, her voice calm. Only the High Council knows about it. And now, you. James walked carefully. Why now? Why open it for me? She looked over her shoulder. Because the signs are clear. The old writings spoke of a time when the stars would shake again, when shadows would return, and when a human would come not just as a visitor, but as a key. James didn't know what to say. He wasn't a hero. He was just a soldier, sent here for peaceful talks, and yet things were changing fast. At the bottom of the stairs, they reached a large stone door. Strange symbols covered it. Some looked alien, but others looked surprisingly familiar. Alira placed her hand on the door, and a soft light flowed under her fingers. The door opened slowly, revealing a large chamber. Inside, the room was wide and round, like a dome. At the center stood a tall crystal pillar, glowing with gentle white light. Round it were old metal tablets, strange machines, and ancient carvings. But one thing caught James's eye. On one of the metal walls was a symbol he knew well. It was the old Earth Space Force logo used hundreds of years ago, before the current fleet system even existed. This is human, he whispered. Alira nodded. Yes, our people always believed we were guided by something greater. Now we understand it was you, your kind. Humans were here before we even knew how to speak. James walked to one of the metal tablets. The writing was partly in English, though old and faded. He read out loud, to those who find this know that we came not to conquer, but to protect. The stars are wide, the danger is great, but humans must always light the path. He looked at Alira. This changes everything. If this gets out, Earth won't ignore it. She stepped closer. That's why we kept it hidden. Until now. He turned to face her fully. And the Drexari? How much do they know? Alira's expression turned serious. They know something. We've seen them searching the deep ruins of other planets. They are not just looking for power, they're looking for the origin of power. If they reach the core vault before us, they will unlock knowledge that could destroy entire star systems. James looked again at the glowing crystal pillar. And you think I can help open it? She nodded. It only reacts to human DNA. We've tried everything. But when you stepped into this room, the light grew stronger. I believe you were meant to be here. He placed his hand gently on the crystal. A warm energy flowed through his fingers. Like a pulse, lights in the ceiling flickered. The crystal lit up brighter. Then, slowly, a small section at the base opened, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside was a cube dark gray with silver edges. It hummed with quiet power. What is it? He asked. We call it the memory core, Alira said softly. It contains the final recordings of the first humans who came here. Their thoughts, their warnings, their plans. James picked it up carefully. It was surprisingly light. The moment he held it, a voice echoed in the chamber. If you hear this, you are the bridge. The stars must not fall again. James's heart beat faster. He looked at Alira. They were trying to protect you. Maybe even all of us. Yes, she whispered. But their time ended. Now, it's our turn. Suddenly, a sharp beeping sound came from a small device on Alira's wrist. She pressed it and frowned. What is it? James asked. We have company, she said. A Drexari scout ship just entered the system. It's small, but fast. They may have tracked our signal when we opened the vault. James stood up straight. Then we can't stay here, she nodded. There's a hidden path out of the mountain. It leads to a skyport. We need to move quickly. They left the chamber and moved through a narrow tunnel, the cube safely tucked in James's bag. As they walked, James couldn't stop thinking about the message in the memory core. He had come to Velmora as a simple representative. Now, he was holding the past and possibly the future in his hands. They emerged from the tunnel onto a high cliff. Below them was a landing platform with a small, sleek craft waiting. The sky had grown darker, and a red light blinked in the distance. The Drexari scout was getting closer. James and Alira ran to the craft. As they boarded, the engine started up with a low hum. The pilot, a quiet Velari male, gave them a nod. Destination, he asked. Velmora High Archives, Alira replied. Full speed. The ship lifted off. James looked out the window. At the stars. What happens when we reach the archives? He asked. Alira looked at him with calm determination. We find the truth. We show your people and mine. And together, we prepare for what's coming. James tightened the straps. On his seat, he was no longer just a guest. He was part of something much bigger. And it had only just begun. The sleek Velari craft moved silently through the upper atmosphere. Commander James Rourke sat near the window, watching the stars stretch across the sky. Beside him, Alira studied the glowing cube, the memory core, with careful eyes. Neither of them spoke for a while. The stars above Velmora were peaceful, but James knew peace never lasted long when danger was near. The Drexari scout ship had entered the system, and more could follow. We're approaching the moon, the pilot said over the comm, landing in 4 minutes. James turned to Alira. You said we're going to the Velmora High Archives. But this looks like open space. Alira smiled faintly. The archives are not on Velmora. They are hidden beneath Velmora, our smaller moon, the place where the first human visitors left their final gift. James raised an eyebrow. And how long has it been hidden? Over 2,000 years, she replied. Built with knowledge our people never understood, until now. The ship curved around the moon's surface, from above. Velmora looked quiet and lifeless, just gray dust and jagged cliffs. But as they flew lower, James noticed strange shapes in the ground, lines too perfect to be natural. Circles, paths, symbols, a landing hatch, the pilot said, pointing. A small metallic plate opened near one of the cliffs. The ship gently touched down. The doors opened with a soft hiss. Cool, dry air filled the cabin. James stepped outside with Alira, his boots crunching on the gray ground. In front of them stood a large stone wall, shaped like a door, covered in markings. Most were Velari symbols, but some looked very familiar. This looks like. James leaned closer. This is ancient Earth writing. Latin? Alira nodded. We never understood those symbols. But you might. James placed his hand on the wall. As he did, a small beam of light scanned his palm. The ground shook gently, and the wall slowly opened, revealing a hallway made of dark silver metal. Lights turned on one by one as they stepped inside. The hallway led into a vast underground chamber. It was round, with high ceilings and smooth walls. Strange machines rested around the room, still working after all these years. In the center was a tall machine with several glowing panels and one empty slot. Alira pointed to the slot. That's where the cube goes. James took the memory core from his bag and carefully placed it into the machine. A soft hum began. Lights brightened. A small screen came to life, showing the face of an old human, a woman in an Earth military uniform. Her hair was gray, and her voice was calm. This is Admiral Carolyn, Earth Star Union, year 2135. If you are watching this, then we failed to protect you. James stepped back, surprised. The recording continued. We left Earth many years ago to explore and guide young civilizations. The Velari were one of the most promising. But a war broke out. The Drexari betrayed peace and began hunting starborn colonies. We hid what we could. Buried knowledge, sealed this archive. The image flickered for a second. You who watch this, whether Velari or human, know this. You are connected. By blood, by spirit, you are family. Protect each other or fall apart. The screen faded to black. The machine went silent. Alira stood still, her hands clenched. So it's true. We are linked to your kind. James was quiet. He looked at the machine, then at the room. The symbols, the writing, the faces in the memory, everything pointed to one truth. You were created by humans, he said slowly, or at least shaped by them. Yes, she replied. And you are a missing piece? Suddenly, alarms sounded. A red light blinked on the wall. The pilot's voice came through a speaker. Commander, Alira, we have incoming ships. Drexari's signature. 3 fighters. Fast approach. James turned. They must have tracked us again. Alira's voice was calm. We have defensive tools here, but only if you help activate them. They ran deeper into the archive chamber. A second door opened, revealing a smaller control room. Panels lined the walls, with old Earth technology and Velari enhancements combined. Place your hand here, Alira said, pointing to a panel. James pressed his hand against it. The screen lit up in green. DNA match confirmed. Earth command clearance accepted. Dozens of panels lit up. On a nearby screen, small drones and energy turrets unfolded from the cliffs above the archive. Outside, the Drexari ships appeared dark, sharp, and fast as they flew toward the landing site. The archive defenses activated. Red beams shot into the sky. 2 ships were hit and exploded in bright flashes. The third turned away, retreating into the clouds. Inside the control room, James and Alira watched the screen. That won't be the last of them. James said, they'll send more. Alira nodded. Then we must act fast. We have the knowledge now. We must share it with Earth and Velmora both. James looked at the glowing screens. His mind raced. Earth needed to know about the connection. The Velari needed help preparing for war. And somewhere in all of this was a future worth protecting. We go back to the capital, he said. We tell the truth. No more secrets. Alira placed her hand on his shoulder. Then everything changes. James looked into her calm green eyes. It already has. The ship raced back toward Velmora's surface from the window. Commander James Rourke could see the capital city glowing beneath the twin moons. Alira sat across from him, still holding the memory core. It pulsed softly in her hands. They had escaped the Drexari ships for now, but James knew it was only a matter of time before more arrived. The council won't like this, Alira said quietly. James looked at her. You mean they don't want the truth? She nodded. They fear panic. Our people haven't seen war in hundreds of years. Some believe if we stay silent, the Drexari will pass us by. James leaned forward. They won't. The Drexari don't. Ignore weakness. They destroy it. Alira gave a small nod. Then we must prepare. Even if the council is afraid, the people need to know. The ship landed near the central dome of Velmora's capital. Tall towers reached into the sky, glowing softly with blue light. The streets below were quiet. It was late, but a few Velari citizens looked up as the ship passed overhead. James and Alira entered the council building. The walls were smooth silver, with crystal lights hanging above. Inside, a group of Velari elders stood in a circle, wearing long white robes. Their faces were calm, but their eyes were filled with concern. One of them stepped forward. His name was Ellerin, the head of the High Council. Alira, he said, why have you returned so soon? She held up the memory core. Because the truth can no longer be hidden. Ellerin looked at James. And the human, James stood tall. I've seen the old archives. I've heard Admiral Carolyn's message. You and I share the same root sand. The same danger. The council murmured softly. Ellerin raised a hand. Let us hear the message. Alira placed the core on the center pedestal. The machine activated, and the room filled with light as the recording played. The Admiral's voice echoed through the hall. You who watch this, whether Velari or human, know this. You are connected. By blood, by spirit, you are family. Protect each other or fall apart. When the message ended, silence followed. Then Ellerin spoke. This confirms what only a few of us ever believed. We are not alone in our story. A younger counselor stepped forward. Her face showed worry. But if this is true, and the Drexari know, then we are in danger. We already are, James said. They attacked the archive moon. We barely escaped. And they will return with more ships and more firepower. Elrond turned to Alira. You are our star speaker. What do you suggest? She looked around the room. We tell the truth. We alert every city. We call back our distant travelers. And we ask Earth for help. James nodded. If Earth sees this message, they'll listen. And I'll be the one to deliver it. Elrond was silent for a moment. Then he nodded. So be it. Suddenly, the floor shook slightly beneath them. The lights flickered. A loud hum filled the air. One of the guards rushed in. Drexari dropships coming down fast. The defense grid is being tested. James stepped toward the window. In the sky, small black shapes dropped through the clouds, fast and silent. Drexari assault ships. They're not waiting anymore, James said. They're coming now. The council moved quickly. Guards sealed the chamber, while alarms rang across the city. Alira turned to James. There's an armory nearby, ancient Texum from Earth, some made here. We might need it. James followed her down a narrow passage, deep under the council tower. The armory door opened with a strong hiss. Inside were weapons unlike any James had seen. Sleek energy rifles, silver body armor, and at the center, something familiar, a modified Earth combat suit. This is military grade, James said. But better. How did you? Alira picked up a curved energy blade. Your people gave us the design. Long ago. James stepped into the combat suit. It adjusted to his body automatically. Lights on the arm plates flickered on. He picked up one of the energy rifles. Alira looked at him. Ready? He gave a quick nod. Let's defend your city. They exited the armory and climbed a tall tower for a better view. The Drexari ships were now landing at the edge of the capital. Small alien troops stall, armored, and sharp-featured poured out of the dropships. They moved quickly, setting up field beacons and strange devices. James raised his rifle. They're setting up something. Maybe a jammer. We have only minutes, Alira said. Velari defense drones flew into the sky, launching soft blue beams. Some Drexari ships were hit, crashing into the trees outside the city. Explosions lit the night. Then the ground battle began. James and Alira led a small group of guards through the streets. The combat suit boosted James's strength. He moved faster, shot more accurately, and reacted quicker than ever before. Drexari soldiers returned fire with dark red beams, but the Velari shields held strong. Alira's energy blade glowed as she moved through enemy lines, quiet and fast, for the first time. James saw the Velari not as peaceful diplomats but as defenders of their world. They were focused, brave, and united after an intense battle. The last Drexari ship lifted off, retreating back into the sky. The city was damaged, but still standing. James looked around at the smoke, the broken walls, the tired but standing defenders. We held them off, he said. For now, Alira replied. But this is only the beginning. He nodded. Then we get this memory core to Earth. They need to see it. She looked at him carefully. And after that, will you come back? James didn't answer right away. He looked at the burning sky, the broken street, and the Velari people around him. Yes, he said at last. This fight is mine now too. Commander James Rourke stood quietly in the council chamber, the weight of recent battles pressing on his shoulders. The memory core lay on the pedestal before him, still glowing faintly. The truth it carried was more than history, it was a key to their future. Alira approached, her silver skin catching the soft light. There's more you need to understand, James. About us, about yourself. James looked at her, curious but tired. What do you mean? She motioned toward an ancient device beside the memory core. This machine can scan your DNA and compare it to Velari records. It will tell us how deep the connection really is. James nodded slowly. Do it. Alira activated the scanner. A blue light surrounded James's hand as he placed it on the sensor. The machine hummed softly. Symbols and patterns appeared on the screen, linking human and Velari genetics in a complex web. The results blinked clearly. Genetic match to 78%. James blinked. What? That can't be. Alira smiled gently. You carry the blood of the first humans who came to Velmora. Your ancestors helped shape the Velari people. Your DNA is part of their legacy. He ran a hand through his hair, stunned. I never imagined. Many don't, Alira said. But it explains why the memory core responded to you. Why you were able to unlock the ancient archives. James sat down heavily. What does this mean? That I'm part Velari. In a way, Alira replied. It means our histories are joined. Our futures too. James looked out the window at the stars shining above. The calm light felt different. Now, deeper. Does Earth know about this? Not yet, Alira said. And it may be hard for some to accept, but it is the truth. Suddenly, an alert sounded. Alira checked her device. Drexari forces are gathering again. They are moving toward the main Velari fleet, preparing for a larger attack. James stood up quickly. We have to warn them. Alira nodded. And prepare for battle? Later, aboard the Velari command ship, James and Alira watched the fleet gather in space. Sleek ships with smooth lines and soft blue lights formed a protective ring around Velmora. James tightened the straps on his combat suit. I never thought I'd lead in a fight like this. Alira smiled, calm but strong. You've always been a leader. You just didn't know it. The Drexari fleet appeared on the sensors of dark, jagged armada, much larger than before. Red lights blinked ominously on their ships. They outnumber us, James said. But we have something they don't, Alira said. The knowledge of the past, the will to survive. The battle began. Energy beams cut through space. Ships danced between the stars, weaving in and out of enemy fire. James directed the Velari fighters with sharp commands. His knowledge of human tactics helped turn the tide. Alira fought bravely in her own ship, piloting with precision and courage. She was not only a diplomat, she was a warrior. As the battle raged, James received a message. Commander, the Drexari flagship is preparing a heavy weapon. If it fires, it could destroy the entire Velari fleet. James clenched his fists. We can't let that happen. He gathered a team of pilots for a dangerous mission to sneak behind enemy lines and disable the weapon. The fighters launched. Silently, James led the squadron through asteroid fields and debris, avoiding detection. Near the Drexari flagship, they encountered heavy resistance. Red beams lit up the dark space. James's combat suit enhanced his reflexes. He fired at enemy fighters, protecting his team. Inside the flagship, Alira led a small group of ground forces in a surprise attack. To sabotage the weapon's power source, the tension was high. Every second counted. Finally, James's squadron reached the weapon's control center. They planted charges and retreated quickly. The charges exploded, disabling the heavy weapon. Back in space, the Drexari flagship lost power and began to retreat. The Velari fleet cheered, their ships forming a protective shield around their home world. James and Alira returned to Velmora as heroes after the battle. James sat in the council chamber again, thinking deeply. Alira joined him. You fought well, but the war is not over. James looked at her. I know, but now, with the truth out, maybe we can unite Earth and Velmora. She smiled softly. That is the hope. James looked at the memory core one last time. Our bloodlines brought us here. Maybe they can also bring us peace. Alira stood and walked toward the door. James followed. Before stepping out, she turned and said, One day, I will wear this dress again. James smiled. And I will tell you, it looks amazing on you. She laughed quietly and locked the door behind them. The sun was setting on Velmora, painting the sky with soft shades of orange and purple. Commander James Rourke stood on the balcony of the new diplomatic center, looking out at the peaceful city below. It was a moment of calm after many storms. Beside him stood Alira, dressed in the same elegant gown James had first seen months ago. The dress flowed gently in the evening breeze, its colors shimmering like the ocean under the stars. James smiled. That dress looks amazing on you. Alira's eyes sparkled. She reached out and gently took his hand. Thank you, James. Behind them, the heavy doors clicked softly and locked a sign of privacy. But also trust. Inside the diplomatic center, Voices filled the halls. Leaders from Earth and Velmora had gathered for the first time to create a new alliance. This was not just a treaty, but a promise to protect each other. James had traveled to Earth to deliver the memory core's message. He had shared the truth of the Velari's origins and the ancient bond between their people. Now, both worlds were ready to face the future together. The council chamber buzzed with hope. The Drexari threat was not gone, but with Earth and Velmora united, there was strength. Later that night, James and Alira walked through the quiet gardens. The stars above felt closer here, as if listening to their steps. I never imagined this, James said softly, that humans and Velari were connected like this. Alira nodded. Sometimes. The past waits quietly for the right time to be remembered. James looked at her, a question in his eyes. Will you stay here? She asked. He thought for a moment. Yes, this is more than duty now. It's home. Alira smiled warmly. Then we faced what comes together. Days turned into weeks. The new alliance worked quickly to share technology and knowledge. Velmora's peaceful ways and Earth's strength balanced each other. James trained Velari defenders in human tactics, while Alira helped Earth scientists understand Velmora's advanced energy systems. Together, they built stronger defenses. The memory core became a symbol of unity, a reminder that both species were family. One evening, as the twin moons rose, James and Alira stood again on the balcony. The city lights below twinkled like stars on the ground. I never thanked you, James said, for trusting me, for believing in this alliance. Alira reached up to touch his cheek. It was your words, the first words you spoke to me, that started this journey. He smiled softly. I didn't know how much they meant back then. She laughed quietly. Now you do. They stood close, sharing a peaceful moment. But beyond the stars, the Drexari were not silent. Their retreat was temporary. One day, scouts reported new ships heading toward Velmora, larger and more prepared. James and Alira faced the news without fear. We've built something stronger now, James said. Stronger than before. Alira nodded. Together, we will protect our future. The battle that followed was fierce. Earth's ships joined Velmora's defenders in a bright dance of light and energy. The Drexari attacked hard, but the united forces pushed them back. James led a squadron deep into enemy lines, disabling key weapons, with Alira coordinating from the command center. After hours of struggle, the Drexari withdrew, beaten but not broken. When the dust settled, James and Alira stood again on the balcony. The sky was clear and calm. We did it, James said. Yes, Alira replied, but the alliance is more than war. It's hope. James looked at her, and with hope, anything is possible. She smiled, reaching for his hand. The doors locked behind them once more.